Hello people, and welcome to Crypto Exposed. Glassnode researcher debunks claims XRP supply on exchanges has dropped to 1.6 billion. Okay guys, let's get into it. Okay, so yeah, I just wanted to do my bit as always in trying to clear up some of the misinformation that's going on around here, because like I'd seen this before and I did say, you know, I don't think this is accurate, and people was talking about like a supply shock and saying that there's not that much XRP left on exchanges, and I said, you know, I don't believe that's entirely accurate. Well, we've got someone here who's actually like really gone out of their way to debunk this now, so I'm going to go through this because I just want to explain it to you properly so you can get a thorough understanding of what's going on, so in future you know what to look for and what the information is in the real deal when it comes to, you know, people claiming that, you know, there's not that much XRP left and that kind of stuff. So let's get into it then. Okay, so Glassnode researcher confirms XRP exchange supply surpasses 1.6 billion. The researcher's response was shared by the pseudonymous XRP commentator Crypto Arsenal. According to him, the posts circulating online misunderstand what the exchange balance metric actually means. The blockchain researcher first clarified that Glassnode's quote balance on exchanges unquote metric only shows XRP held in wallets that the company has internally identified and verified as belonging to the exchanges. These wallets include all XRP stored there, including custodial holdings. In other words, the metric does not separate tokens that are actively available for trading from those being held on behalf of others. Crypto Arsenal then pointed out that Glassnode tracks only a limited portion of exchange wallets. Because the company has not yet identified all exchange-related addresses, a large share of XRP held on exchanges does not appear in the current data. This confirms why it reports lower figures. On-chain data has limits. He further noted that no one can assess how much XRP is truly available for sale using on-chain data alone. Notably, wallet balances do not reveal whether tokens belong to long-term holders, custodial accounts, or active traders. As a result, drawing firm conclusions about quote available supply unquote based only on identified exchange wallets can lead to misleading claims. Meanwhile, he confirmed that Glassnode plans to expand its tracking by incorporating exchange addresses identified through XRPL block explorers like XRP Scan. This process will begin soon. As more exchange wallets get added to the system, the report exchange supply could increase. He advised that if exchange balance figures rises, market participants should not panic, as such a change would show improved data collection rather than new XRP flowing onto exchanges. Exchanges hold nearly 16 billion XRP. Notably, this is not the first time the supply shock claim faced criticism. The Crypto Basic found last December that the idea of XRP exchange balances collapsing had flaws. Data from XRP Scan showed that exchanges held as much as 16 billion XRP, representing 26% of the circulating supply. Further data revealed that 4 major exchanges including Upbit, Binance, Binance US and Uphold alone held up to 10 billion XRP tokens. These figures surpass the numbers propagated then and also differ from the 1.6 billion XRP shown in Glassnode's current metric. Okay, so there you have it guys, there you have it. So look, this is the thing that I will say. I will give a bit of grace here. It could be that some people just don't really understand what it is that they're looking at, right, when they talk about the whole supply shock thing. The only thing that I will say when it comes to that is, obviously that's not great for the influencers that you're following if that is the case, right? Like we can acknowledge that, okay, you know, maybe they just don't understand what it is that they're looking at, the metric that they're using, but yeah, like clearly they've misunderstood that, and this is what leads to misinformation, right? And like I've said before, look, I'm not perfect, I can make mistakes, so this is why I'm saying I can give grace, because if you really believe that this was true, then that's fair enough. That's just an honest mistake. As long as you can kind of turn around now and say to your audience, look, I got this wrong and this is the truth, then fair enough, right? There's nothing wrong with that. Just own up to the mistake that you made. But if you're someone who, you know, you're just going to move on from this or still continue to make out that there is a supply shock going on when you can clearly see that that's not the truth, that's the kind of thing that I don't respect, because clearly at that point you're just doing it for the hype. You're just trying to, you know, put across an agenda, and you're just trying to basically make money. So for me, the thing that I will say, guys, if obviously, you know, they've got it wrong, if it's just an honest mistake and they can own up to that and move on, fair enough, right? It's not great because obviously you'd want to follow people who are giving you accurate information, but mistakes can be made by anyone. So we have to just acknowledge that. But if you're not seeing anyone kind of address this or acknowledge it, then, you know, it kind of shows you that they're just trying to brush it under the rug, not really want to take accountability for getting things wrong, or they want to just continue to milk it, right? They just want to hope that no one will notice this kind of article and hope that, like, it'll just go unseen and they can continue to push the whole supply shock theory out there to get more views and engagement. To me, you know, it's not the best, but I have been saying to you guys for a while now, this whole supply shock with the exchanges having no XRP left, it's silly. You know, like, this is one of the theories that I saw when people would, like, done a video where they said you literally only need one XRP to become, like, mega rich. And it's like, one of the theories about that was them not having a lot of XRP on exchanges, having like 15 XRP left on exchanges. And it's like, that's just not going to happen. Like, you know, I understand that you can have your own theories and stuff like that, but it was absolutely wild. Like, the whole thing, when the guy broke it down, I was just like, okay, man, like, whatever stuff you're smoking, clearly it's the good stuff, because that whole theory was just out there, man. It was crazy. But yeah, like, look, at the end of the day, this whole supply shock theory, it's just not accurate, guys. There's plenty of XRP at this point in time. Now, could it diminish over time as more institutions get involved and stuff through like ETFs and institutional adoption? Yeah, it could. I don't think it's going to get to a point where there's a supply shock, to be honest with you, to like the degree of like the way people make it out to be, where there's like no XRP left. I don't see that happening, but I can see it being a thing where, you know, the supply diminishes and then through supply and demand, people are willing to pay more for it. So it goes up in value. But I don't think we'll get to a point where there's no XRP on exchanges. That's just my personal opinion. I could be wrong, but I don't see it getting to that level. But I do think that there could be supply and demand tactics that, you know, really do build up the price over time as we start to see things like institutional adoption and that kind of stuff in cryptos being embraced with, for example, you know, the Clarity Act now, where we've got regulations in place. So now, you know, all these firms that want to use crypto and adopt crypto, the rules of the road are clear, so they know what they need to do and what they need to abide by, but they can now use crypto safely, right? So I do think that can play a part, but I don't think we're going to just run out of XRP personally, because again, you think about Bitcoin only has a 21 million supply. And even Bitcoin is still on exchanges. It's not like, you know, people are struggling to buy Bitcoin. No, it's fine. There's plentiful. So, you know, I don't really see that so much happening with XRP with their 100 billion circulating supply. Like, I just don't think that's as likely to be the case. But yeah, like I say, I hope this is something that's helped you to understand how it works now, and now you can kind of, you know, if you do see people saying this kind of stuff, you can call them out or kind of know whether they're accurate in what they're saying and whatnot. So that's my intention. Like, I'm just trying to help you guys see exactly how this really does work, so you know what to look out for. But yeah, as I say, just keep an eye out for the people that you follow. Obviously, just try and make them aware of these kind of mistakes so that hopefully they own up to it, you know, because that's all it is. If they can take accountability, you can't really ask for any more than that. But if they're trying to, you know, brush it under the carpet, then yeah, I think that's the point where you have to, you know, that's the point where you have to kind of start to question these people and what their motives are. But I'll leave it there. Thank you very much for watching this. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And hit that bell. Take care.